Right, here we are, guys. Southern Pines, hole 1, par 4. And this is a really interesting hole. I like this one, that it has multi options here as to how you can go about playing it. The way that I recommend doing it kind of varies from driver to driver. I don't recommend. I recommend right where he's aiming now to go for. All you have to do is you'll put max right spin, max top spin, and also curl it as well for an extra mile. You'll use, more curl than my opponent's doing. He can luck out here and maybe, great ball right, for instance. Yeah, that'll help. So that'll help give it kind of an extra boost towards the right, but you'll usually want to use, as you can see, it's very close to that rough. You usually want to use, about 40 curl on this one. To really solidify that into the fairway. But it does get you down there a very good, reasonable distance. And on tailwind cases, you'll be able to go for the green much, much more. So one thing that I can do is I can go down to a katana, for instance. I don't need much distance on this hole. The biggest problem with going for the katana for me, personally, and you can see that I'm going to back off the top spin just for you guys. It doesn't matter if you have a POC 4. As you can see, my opponent just did it with an extra mile. So this just kind of solidifies the whole concept. So if you're on my channel and you're thinking, oh, this guy has, the best clubs, I can't do this. He just proved to you that you're wrong. So it really doesn't matter. And here you can see that I'm going to back off my power just slightly. But I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive than my opponent. And you can see that, with my curl, I'm going to be bending it much more towards this rough. That's not quite the way that I wanted it to work out. I didn't get a very good run out there. I'll still be okay, but we wanted it to roll out as opposed to checking up. So a little bad break there. Could have used maybe just a little bit more distance. I took off a little bit. But I also caught a bad break, as you could see, that it didn't roll through and it just checked up. So usually with the extra curl, it actually ends up rolling through much better. But as I mentioned, it's not going to take me out of the hole, but it is going to kind of change the complexity with the wind that I just got. But let me kind of go over what I usually do. I usually do B52, pretty flat elevation, maybe minus 10%. In this case, with the headwind, we're just going to go plus 0. We're going to kind of take off that elevation change. And as I mentioned, it's going to kind of change the way that I need to do this shot, because I'm not going to quite have, well, it looks like I'm okay. Here you can see very close to min club. So I'm going to put my slider positioning into, the correct range here. And I'm also going to kind of offset a little bit past the hole, as you can see, with what I'm doing. And then, with this overcorrection technique, we're going to go right around 7 rings for an 8 wins, somewhere right in there. Perfect ball. And it looks like maybe just not quite enough offset there, but overall not too bad. It might have been a little bit light on the adjustment. What did I do? Plus 0%. I shouldn't have needed elevation there. So I might have just been a little bit light. If you look at my slider positioning, especially since I'm pulling towards mid club a little bit, even though I'm at min club, might need to do just a little bit of an overcorrection. I felt my offset was pretty good there. So, and elevation wise, definitely probably pretty well as well. So, just something to be thinking about. Hopefully you guys can get, relatively dialed in on that hole and, give yourself a good chance for eagle there. But I'll catch you guys for the shootout and see you guys in a moment here.